Seen a lot lately.
Done a lot lately.
Hard to believe there's much of anything left to do.
Hey, I don't normally do stuff like this, but I wanted to get my views out there about, this game and why it's what it is. I don't normally buy a new game, I don't. I generally wait for a price point to come up and then I'll purchase it. And it doesn't matter if it's new or it's second hand, but if it's at a certain price or under, I'll go, okay, I'm interested in that, I will now purchase it. I can wait, I don't normally care if a game's been released this year, last year, 20 years ago, and if it piques my interest and I want it, I will certainly purchase it. That's how I've always been. Well, and that's a lie. Back in the past, I pre-ordered games up to a year, maybe 2 years in advance, pay for more then, and then, be surprised when something turns up, and then be like, oh yeah, I remember pre-ordering that. This I bought on day of release. We're of course talking about the Saints Row reboot. Cue clip, maybe. And yeah, I bought this on day of release, and I paid a pretty penny for it. It's not the cheapest of media anymore. The price point has gone up from £40 of about 20 years ago up to about 60 quid for a brand new game. I'd say maybe 50 quid last year, and it's gone up to 60. There is inflation and stuff, of course, but still, that's a pretty good price for a brand new product that lasts you 40 odd hours. I'd say that's pretty good, but yeah, I don't normally buy it, but I'm interested enough in Saints Row. I love games 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have played a little bit of Johnny Gat Goes to Hell, or whatever the fuck it's called, but didn't really get into that. It was a bit too crazy. Saints Row 4 is definitely crazy enough, but there's enough gameplay in there, grounded, I think, that you can still get some enjoyment from that one. And it's just stupid enough. Get out of hell, where you actually go to hell. If you see me looking up there, like, I'm looking at myself on the monitor. Anyway, Get Out of Hell is just a bit too far in the direction of stupid or crazy. Maybe not stupid, crazy. I'm getting off track now, but yeah, Saints Row is a series I've enjoyed. All 4 games on the Xbox 360 I have enjoyed. I haven't played the remaster. I don't really do remasters. I'm not really interested. I like games to be as they were when they were released, and you get the full experience. So yeah, I bought this game on release day, paid a bloody penny for it. I'd read reviews, and most of them were titled Saints Row: An Unbridled Mess, or An Unbridled Meh, to be specific, and I read reviews, don't get me wrong. If I'm interested enough in a game, I will read a review, but that doesn't alter whether I'm going to purchase it or not. It has absolutely zero bearing. If I'm interested enough, I will buy it. Even if it gets a really shit score, which this game didn't, to be fair. It got varied reviews. It got either really good, really crap. Actually, it got quite a broad spectrum of whatever. People either loved this, hated it, meh. And that's the word, isn't it? Meh. This game is a bit meh. Now, I wanted to talk about it today, and I don't know why it was in my head, but yesterday I finished it. Not 100%, but as close as I can be bothered to get. I'd done all the missions, I'd done all the side quests, I'd done all the ventures, I found most of the discoveries, I found all the kits for the cars. Did I collect everything? No. Did I collect all the collectibles where you have to take pictures of stuff? No. I'm not interested in doing that. But I want to finish as much of the story-based stuff as I can, the gameplay-based stuff, going around and collecting collectibles and taking pictures. Fine, if you want to do that, fine, but that is not for... Anyway, I'm wearing a Hellfire Club t-shirt, by the way, whatever. If you want to do that, that's fine. I do not. I'm not interested in that. Some games, I do it. Hell, for whatever reason, I don't know why I said hell there. Assassin's Creed brings out the collector man in me. Is that a word? No. And I want to collect shit. This game doesn't do it. Saints Row 4 did, because there was an actual... You got a reward for collecting all these stupid little blue things in that game, where you get more superpowers. That was kind of worth it, although the trouble is, you'd have to do that really early on to get any benefit throughout the rest of the game. So if you play the game normally and then do that at the end, which I would normally do with collectibles and stuff like that, you don't really get the benefit, and that is the problem with collectibles in this game. There's no benefit that I can see. Maybe a costume. Who gives a shit? There's so many customization options to begin with. It doesn't really matter. By the end, you're bored of the game. You don't want a fucking new sword or a new bloody haircut. It's irrelevant. Anyway, I finished this game yesterday, and I also finished another game which has been on my to-do list for a while, and that's Kingdom Hearts 3. And let me tell you my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts for 2 seconds. I'm not a big fan of those games. I don't like the story, I don't like the gameplay, I don't like the side quests. I don't like the characters. I think they're un-Disneyed. They seem, I don't know, they seem Final Fantasy. That's how it feels to me. The characters aren't sweet enough. I don't know. It all feels a little bit whatever. But at the same time, I'm drawn to that series. I hate everything about it, but there's something in there which grabs my interest, and I will have to play it. It's so insane, all of it. There's something about it that makes me want to play it. I don't know what it is. If we then look at Saints Row, I enjoy that type of gameplay. Open world, killing things, blowing stuff up. Sometimes collecting. Empire building, I've always found that fascinating. I think the game that did that one of the best is probably Grand Theft Auto, but they don't go far enough. And I thought maybe this game could do that, and they'd have a really big look on building an empire, but they don't go far enough, I find. I want to be able to purchase every building, you know, but that's just me, I suppose. Something like that would really pick my interest, as well as going around murdering stuff and killing off people. But I completely lost track of what the fuck I was going on about. Oh yeah, this game, it should be perfect for me, but it's just meh. You know what I mean? It's fine. Everything kind of works. It's just meh. We can get into specifics in a minute of some of the things that are wrong with this game, and it's not necessarily wrong, it's my opinion, but if it's being echoed by, you know, many other people, then they seriously need to take note. Saying that though, I would welcome a sequel, and I would play a sequel. I like this series enough that I think they can come back from this and create a really interesting game. Saints Row 1, the original, was whatever, it was fine. Saints Row 2 took the lessons they learned and improved on everything, and then Saints Row 3 took it in a completely brilliant direction, and Saints Row 4 dropped the ball. So let's hope that this series, now it's been rebooted, does the same. So Saints Row 1 is whatever, it's a start, and then Saints Row 2, they can improve on everything, and then Saints Row 3, by the time we get to Saints Row 3, the new one, we'll have a fantastic game, and then Saints Row 4, whatever, we're all bored of it by then, we're probably all bored of it by now. But yeah, I would welcome a sequel. So let's talk about specifically what is wrong with this game, and okay. The glitches. It's been well documented in the last week or so that this game has been out, that there are glitches in this game. And normally a glitch wouldn't hamper my enjoyment in the game, and it wouldn't alter my feel of how I'm playing it. But this one has, and it's kind of ruined the experience for me. The best example is right at the end of the game. Right at the end, I've built the skyscraper in the sky. The game crashed. I was going to do a little bit more. I was going to have a look around the city. I was going to fly off in the wingsuit and do stuff and maybe go and collect some of the collectibles. But as soon as it crashed, I was gone. I was out. I was turned off. I was like, no, I can't be fucked now. I can't be asked to turn off the PlayStation and start again. I can't be dealing with it. So that was my end feeling, was the game crashing on this game. And that pretty much sums up the whole experience. The whole thing just crashed. And it's crashed, I think, 5 times in that whole playthrough. So, over 40 hours, is that good? Is that bad? It's bad that it crashes at all, but it's not the end of the world. I've had games that have crashed way more than that. But at the same time, those games crashing never hamper my experience, and I've always tried again. This, however, I find it crashes at the most inappropriate times when you're doing a mission that is not necessarily hard, but is quite dull. So you've done half of it, and the game crashes, and you're like, for fuck. So you have to start again. And it's not just... 5 times it's happened that the game has just completely shut off and said, this game has to close. 5 times, I'd say. There has been maybe 10 instances where the game has just become unplayable, and I've had to restart the game. Where it's just, you're just stuck. The car can get stuck, you can get stuck. The character just stops animating for some reason. The worst one was in an airship mission. So you're flying the vertical takeoff ship. You have to go and take out, I think, 20 blokes on the ground. The camera fucked up. So when you're just flying, there's 2 modes of the ship basically. There's flying and there's sort of stationary mode, I guess. So when you're flying, it's fine. The camera goes back to normal. As soon as you press the button to go into the ship and then start firing at stuff, you've got this incredibly close-up shot. So it's like, it's there. You can kind of see. I tried to restart the mission, so I restarted the mission, so I thought, I can't fucking see what I'm doing. I did restart, and the same thing happened again. And what do you do at that point? There's a very famous, I think it's Angry Video Game Nerd episode, where he's playing Mega Man, I want to say 2, and I've been chatting for so long, my screen went off. Mega Man 2, and basically it started flickering and he lost sight of Mega Man. Or no, the enemy went blank and he had to play it blindfolded basically. And he managed to complete the game. So the final boss started flickering, he couldn't see the final boss, he had to do all the jumps over his weapon without actually seeing it and hopefully get the timing, and he did it and he finished the game, which is insane. This mission's kind of like that. I had to do it blindfolded. You have the mini-map in the bottom left is the only reason I got through this mission, and I basically had to just hope for the best. It took me way longer than it should have to do a boring mission of taking out 20 blokes, but I got there. And then the game after that decided to play nice, and actually the next part of the mission was normal. But I was fucked at that point, and I'm very pissed off. Also, this game doesn't signpost very well. Apart from obviously the GPS, it tells you exactly where to go, but in like a room or stuff, it's just kind of like, I have no idea. And if you don't hit a certain checkpoint, you don't hit a certain marker that the game wants you to hit, it goes, nah, and it doesn't load the next part. And you're there waiting, thinking, I've done everything. And it'll be either one bloke who's spammed outside of the border of the current area, or it'll be a car that you haven't destroyed, or you haven't destroyed enough to generate something to make you go to the... It's just fucking nuts. And if you try and leave the area that you're currently in, you get a timer of about 10 seconds where you have to come back, and it's like, I'm literally like that far. I'm that far off the mission. Who cares? It's just strange. Just very strange. Another instance of that happening is right at the very end, when I'd finished the game, kind of. Well, I finished the main story. There's this... Spoilers, by the way. There's this section where you're singing karaoke with your friends, and the characters didn't load up. My main character and another, I think Kevin, I don't know, Eli maybe. Might be Eli. I don't remember their names. I remember their names, I don't remember which characters are which. They're all so boring. They'd loaded up, but nobody else had. So the characters next to you, there was microphones floating in the air while they're doing karaoke. There's supposed to be, I guess, a huge crowd surrounding you and singing along. They didn't load up, so there was basically 2 people and floating microphones everywhere, and it was the weirdest shit. But that sums this game up completely. Just shit that doesn't load up, and it's such a shame in it, because it could have been great. The customization, I'd been watching videos months in advance of this, and I was thinking, oh, look at my hair, look. I need customization. I could do with Saints Row hair. But yeah, like I'm watching it in advance, and it just looked really. I was like, the customization is great. That's always been a big selling point of these games, and then this did that. But it wasn't as groundbreaking as I thought it was going to be. I like the fact that let's do some positives. I've been negative. No, let's do all the negatives, then we'll do some positives. What else was there? I got to think now. My brain's gone mush. I've been rabbiting on, and I go on a tangent. But that's the main one. The crashing, yeah, the game glitches. They don't really, like I said, they don't normally hamper my enjoyment, but they have hampered me with this one. I found it a mess. 50% of the time, the game was fine, and then towards the end of the game, it seemed to happen more. I don't know whether it hadn't been play tasted as much or what, but yeah, they dropped the ball on this one. I think that's mostly the negatives. Let's talk about the controls. The shooting mechanics, whatever. They are pretty much what they were in the previous game. Fine, they work. Not an issue. Not bad, to be honest. There's some good weapon feel in some of the weapons. It feels good. The driving. What is wrong with the driving? It's just too realistic, maybe. I think that might be the problem. This is quite an over-the-top game. Why the fuck did they make the driving feel realistic, I guess is what it is. It feels very sluggish. Trying to turn around is ridiculous. It's kind of impossible. And I get it. I get what feel they were going for with the driving. But it's bad. This is a game. This is not real life. If I wanted to take 5 hours to turn around in a... It's like Austin Powers turning around. But this is a video game. This is not real life. They should have made it much easier to do that. And just every time you go for a corner, you're like, this is going to be hit and miss. Thankfully, there's not a lot of, what's the word? Come on. It's not a reward, it's the opposite of reward. There's not much. I don't know, but basically, if you do something wrong, you're not really punished for it, basically. There's no punishment for doing something. There we go, got there in the end. There's no punishment for doing anything wrong. Your car is kind of invulnerable to everything, apart from the fucking Bianca trucks, which are basically you buy a Saints Row clothing thing, you have to go and steal clothes in trucks. Those trucks blow up like that. Whereas all the other times you're driving a vehicle, it takes fucking hours. It's nuts. It's so inconsistent. God, anyway, let's talk about some positives. Does it look nice? Oh, actually, that's not positive. It kind of does look nice sometimes, but then the animation on the characters feels old. It feels like something from 10 years ago. I'm guessing they've got the character animations from the old Saints games and just tweaked them a little and shoved them in and gone, this feels now like a Saints Row game. But that is true. But we're in the future, so maybe make it better. It just feels odd, and especially when the character's jumping and you jump and it's like, why? But yeah, the game does look nice, and I mean, the sweeping vistas and the mountains, and when the sky is at night, especially at night, and you've got the stars in the sky, and there's all these lights going off everywhere, and it all looks pretty, and the reflections in the water are quite nice, and the reflections from, if you're in a helicopter, and the reflections on the rotor blades, it all looks nice, and the colours all pop out, and everything's bright, and even though you're in like a sandy desert, it all kind of looks very colourful, and there's lots going on. The city's beautiful, and it's a really well designed city, I think. It's like goes around a big lake, and there's enough there, and there's enough bare landscape where you can just go off and off-road and whatever, and it all looks great, and then they've got this really, really, really nicely built world, and there's just fuck all going on in it. It's just meh, it's just stuff. There's nothing of any substance, and it's such a bloody shame. Probably the best thing about this game is the inclusion. So everybody is included. So it's such a hard subject to talk about without sounding patronising. So if I sound patronising, I apologise. But basically, if you have a prosthetic arm, you have a prosthetic leg, you can have that in this game. If you are black, white, green, blue, purple, you can be that in this game. If you identify as a trans, I don't know the rest, as a potato, you can be that in this game. You can be whatever the crap you like. You can be a furry. You can have a penis and breasts. Brilliant. It's inclusive. It doesn't matter what you are. But then again, if you want to be that character, you can. If you want to be something different, you can. You can be whatever the fuck you like. If you're a hermaphrodite, I don't think they have that. Maybe they do. I don't know. You could try. You can change your character halfway through, so doesn't it really fucking matter? You can be whatever the crap you want to be. I always play in these games as a woman. I always have. Not just these games, but if there's a character creator, I can't be a woman in real life, so I'll be a woman in games. I don't know why. I think I prefer it. Mass Effect's a big one for me. I loved being female Shepard. It was amazing. I think that completely changed that experience for me. I've played it as both male and female characters. This one, though, that you can have a non-binary, which is, I think, a huge step forward. But in this game, it's not going to get the praise that it needs. It's not going to get the recognition, because the game sucks. And that's the biggest problem. The game is just whatever. It's not great. It's not amazing, and it's not totally shit. It's in this middle fucking ground of just being, it's a game. And it's such a shame. The Saints Row series has been pretty meh, but I've always found them really enjoyable. And this one I'm just like, let's just get to the end and get over this. So, there we go. That's Saints Row. I probably will do more videos like this of me just chatting about shit. I've already thought of a name for this segment. It's going to be called Overdue Review, because this review is well out of date now. But that's my thoughts on it. Plenty of other people have reviewed this and given relatively similar critiques, so this isn't anything new, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out of it. It's especially weird because yesterday I completed this and Kingdom Hearts 3, so I completed 2 games on the same day. And I should hate one more than I hate the other. I should hate Kingdom Hearts 3, but I actually enjoyed that more than I did Saints Row. And Kingdom Hearts is a series I'm not that into. Saints Row is, but I got more enjoyment from this just because of the bat crazy shit. And this just did everything meh. So yeah, sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I don't know what we'll review next time, something terrible. But thanks for watching. See you later. And goodbye.